Fala galera, welcome to part 2 of the Vitara Charts episode. As you remember, in part 1, we discovered a little bit of the history of Vitara Charts, how they started. Hema was telling us the use cases that lead companies to need advanced visualizations, and she kindly demoed the advanced grid types of visualizations we can use in strategy. In part 2, in this episode here, we will see together how we can leverage advanced types of bar charts and all sorts of different visualizations that Vitara Charts offers. So I hope you guys like this one. Let's continue exactly where we stopped in the last one.
You start off with something that is used very extensively, like something like a bar chart. So let's pull up a simple bar chart over here, right? And this looks like three bar charts actually, but if you break this down, this is one single bar chart. And what happens in the bar chart is you are trying to show the details of actual versus plan. This is where you start off with as a business person. You have somebody who's given you a plan and saying, this is what you need to hit. All of us work with targets. And then this is where you're at. What's the first question you ask yourself? How far am I from my plan value? What do I need to do to get there? What is the delta? So instead of trying to create a new chart or display a new number, you can now go into the bar chart and you can simply say, show me the variance. How far am I? Am I good? Am I in the green or am I in the red? And by how many points? Not just points, but even percentages if you want that. How much have I attained of my target? Show that as a percentage. So now your bar chart, instead of saying as a simple bar chart, is now extended version of the bar chart, because these are our bread and butter charts. We're going to use them everywhere. And now we are saying, how do we enhance this? How do we make this even more interesting for the end user? And that's what we are, trying to accomplish here. Let's look at
That looks great. That looks great.
Yeah, let's look at another variation. Again, we are talking bar charts, but let's take the same bar chart and say you have plan, you have actual. What about if you have forecast data? So sometimes customers will display forecast data. How do you represent that? Here we are taking the visual language of the bar and playing around with it. So instead of having just solid colors, you can have patterns to indicate if it's firm data or if it's only a projected number. So immediately after, as soon as we look at it, universally we know that this pattern indicates it's not set in stone. It's just somebody put a sheet on Excel and gave to you and said, this is your target, you're working against this. But this is not actual revenue. Actual revenue is dark shaded. So intuitively, right, you are playing around with the visual language to make your communication very, very easy back to your end user. So you have that option. The same visual language can be extended to other things as well. So let's say you're working with multiple years worth of data. You're looking at year over year, how things are moving, how your business is changing. Add play animation to it. This is not a complicated, chart that takes months and years to create. This is something that is a drag and drop option with Vitara Chat. So what you would do is you would simply take your year, and instead of putting it in the color by, or you will just drag it and drop it into the play axis, and that's kind of where you would come up. Sorry, let me close this out and reopen. So you would take something like an attribute here, in this case it's year, and then you can simply drag it. You will have your editor option and you can either add it or you can remove it. So let's say I take year and I remove it. It goes back to being a simple bar chart. I take my year, I add it back into the play axis, and it becomes available for you. You want to make this go bigger, you just go into the play axis option here and make this.
That's cool. That's cool. And that's where we add those visualizations, right? We need to go to the editor part of a dashboard,
Yeah,
change the visualization, and choose one of your Vitara charts. Is that correct?
absolutely. So let's take one example which is, really popular with our customer base. This is called as a calendar chart. Now
I
everybody
love this
use
one.
Yeah.
That's a
Everybody
really cool one.
universally understands this. Doesn't matter which
Yeah.
part of the world you're in, you're going to use a calendar. So if we are taking this, let's, change this one, and then, edit this so that we can change this into a simple grid and start from there. So in a simple grid, all you need is you need one dimension which happens to be time dimension. So it can be date, it can be hour, it can be year, anything. Let's start with date, and we're having sales here, but it can be any metric. It doesn't really matter. It can depending on your business. And we click the change visualization button. Once you have Vitara installed, you'll start to
Hmm.
see a bunch of additional options in each category. But
Oh,
if
I
you
see.
do custom, you'll see everything all at once. And this is where you'll select your calendar visualization.
I see. Great, great.
Yeah.
So basically, for the calendar, it requires a date attribute and then
Yeah.
any metric.
Any metric, it doesn't matter. Once
Okay.
you have that, by default, it lays it out like a heat map because the calendar is intended to function in two ways. One, it's a heat map. Two, it's a selector. And we'll walk you through both use cases. As a heat map, it shows you the rhythm of your business. Where are the ebbs and flows? When are you busy? When you need more staff, more support, more stock, all of these things. And when is it light season? When you can take it easy, you can cut down on your expenses, especially on a factory floor. Imagine this: if there are hours that you can put instead of day level data, you can take this same calendar and you can change this to hours in a day. Now, because my data is all a single day, it's showing at 12 o'clock. But imagine I had 24 hours data, it would plot it. And I'm running a factory floor or I'm running a call center. And I want to understand, when is it peak time? When am I halting? When are my machines idle? When are they being repaired? You can showcase that rhythm of your business hour over hour, day over day. And it's very, very compelling for business users, floor managers, somebody trying to run a factory, to say, you know what, I can make better decisions. I can save some money here by removing additional stuff because Saturday evening nothing happens, right? Something like this. You can really change it up. In fact, we have built a beautiful dashboard which showcases the industry solution for a factory floor layout. So let me just really quickly kind of pull that up and show it to you, because it was something that we built for a real customer and they absolutely loved it. They wanted to find downtime as well as defects on different parts of their floor. So we
That
started
looks cool.
yeah, we started out by laying out the factory floor, and you can see it's interactive. So when I hover over it, I can see different parts and what's happening there. But I can also select in the calendar a specific day or a specific time and control what gets laid out on the chart. So information about downtime, information about different defects, because we're talking millions and millions of dollars that are going to waste if it's a huge factory production. So they want to understand, where are the issues coming from, where is the downtime coming from, how is my staffing going by day, so that they can manage it proactively. So the calendar is not just a visual pretty tool that everybody understands. It's also a business friendly tool that makes you come up with real life decisions. So we are going back to the calendar over here, and we are going to say I want to see day in a month, which was our original display. Now here we can play around and say, in the calendar, I don't want to see this in a very small font. I can make it medium. I can also display the data label, so instead of showing the date, I can show the actual metric. Same with if you want to change the tooltips. Tooltips are very important in a calendar because we are working with limited space. So sales is fine, that's one part of it. What if I want to see last year's sales? Put it into the tooltip. What if I want to see sorry, this one got timed out. This is a live connection, apologies for that. So if,
No
let's say,
problem.
you want to see last year data, or you want to see profit data, there are so many requirements that the end users will come up with. And when that happens, all you need to do is you just drag and drop into the tooltip section additional metrics. And when you hover over your calendar, now you'll start to see
I
the
see.
everything.
Hmm.
And
That's
this can
great.
be used as a controller. So when you're here, you click on it, one day, many days, selection becomes intuitive because we are used to doing this in a website. Let's say you're trying to track sales. You're used to selecting date ranges or trying to pick your tickets. You've done this before, so you know you can select multiple days and control the rest of the dashboard. So in fact, we had created this layout in honor of the upcoming Football World Cup. And this shows ticket sales in an imaginary stadium and occupancy. So you select a different date and it updates the ticket sales as well as the occupancy by stand. So you can immediately see business wise, how am I doing? What is my occupancy rate? How much can I sell it for? Last five matches, how did I do in the next match? How am I going to do? Right. So it's a very visual way, whether it's a factory floor or whether you're working with a business where you are, selling concession stands, you're working with stadium operations, doesn't really matter what your business is. There's always something that you can customize and present back to your users in a rich visual way, and that's kind of where we are trying to come in.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I love that one. All right. So in total, you have more like more than 40 different types of graphs, right?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
And this is like the gallery where we can find them.
This is the repository where you can find them. And sometimes what happens is you take one chart and you can convert it into new chart styles. What do I mean by that? So we start off with, let's say, a bar chart or an area chart and make it into completely new styles of chart. So here we are showing you two examples where we are starting out with a bar chart. So this is a bar, and in the bar we have actually turned on something called as a polar mode, which makes it spin on its own axis. So a
I
bar
see.
chart now gets converted into a concurrent circle graph.
That's
Or
cool.
you you take an area chart, right, and then you go to the area chart and you say let's spin this one on its axis and make into new chart. You can also do things like, smooth the line so that it's softer.
Hmm.
You can unsmooth it, you can animate it, you can turn the animation off, you can turn on the polar mode so it becomes a radial chart. Very, very kind of flexible. The same thing applies to new chart styles as well. So in addition to modifying existing chart styles, we've added new chart styles, and new kinds of charts get created because of this. So animation we've seen earlier with the bar chart, here we are seeing with the bubble chart. On the right hand side, you're seeing the bubble chart, but what you see is background colors. So this is again very important when you're presenting data. So let's say you have this scatter plot and you're showing which of your products are selling at higher margin, and you're also having stock versus you have no stock and you have low margin. So when you see that distribution, you create this Q1, Q2, like your Gartner quadrant square, and you want to see where your products are coming over. So you can immediately create these quadrants using Vitara charts, and you can add these background colors. And it's not local to these guys. You can do these background colors on bar charts, line charts as well. So these are few examples where we have applied it. Let's say you started a marketing campaign. Let's say we are focused on a specific event. The Gartner conference is coming up, and you start something to say, I want to get so many clicks on the website from the Gartner website. And you want to see how many clicks happened before and after that. And if that pattern has improved because you launched a new marketing campaign, you can draw a background color to say before, after, right? Or
Hmm.
if you're trying to showcase the 25th percentile, 75th percentile, 90th percentile, you can draw lines and you can add background colors. So it becomes you're taking the same charts, the same bread and butter charts that you use all the time, and you are improving and adding on to the visual language of those charts. So here, for example, you're showing charts with flag images. Here you're showing this one actually always surprises when I show it to people. So this is something that showcases how an airline load works. So you can use a simple strategy selector and you can say how much is the plane loaded or empty. So it almost works like an application, right? And it shows you
Hmm.
number of seats occupied versus vacant. And on this side, it's showing you what is the break-even point. How much occupancy percentage helps me cover the cost of fuel, right? So it looks like something that is a very complicated application to build. This takes less than a day to build. The reason for that is very, very simple. All I have here are bar charts, nothing else. So when I say that, people are always like, what do you mean bar charts? Well, just like we were able to embed images in the grid chart, you saw the data where we had images in the grid and we were showing the rankings and ratings. In the same way, we have the ability to add custom markers inside simple charts like bar chart as well, and I'll show you a few more variations of it, but this one's really interesting because once I pull this out from behind the background image, you can see this is a simple bar chart.
Yeah.
And the way you do it is once you edit it in the bar, you have the option to go ahead and say what you want the bar to contain. Is it going to be containing some custom images? It's a series, so whether it's going, the series of open and close is going to contain a data marker, and what kind of data marker do you want? So I'm just going to go ahead and pick something that looks like a rectangular seat, and you can specify how many rows you want. I'm specifying 3 rows because 3 is typically the seating of the plane, but you can select, make this into 2 rows, for example, and then click apply. So it's changed this into 2 rows, right? Super
Looks
easy.
really cool.
Yeah, you can now you're basically building an airplane layout, and all you're doing is using bar chart.
Yeah.
So that cuts down your development time from building a custom application to a strategy dashboard into like a tenth of the time that you would require. Same way in retail, let's say somebody says, show me how many male shoppers do we have and how many female shoppers do we have. You can just put images and showcase that, right? This is again a bar chart, and we have
Hmm.
replaced bar with a marker, and it's showing the percentage fill inside the. So it's
That's so cool.
it's making very simple charts that we all use. It's not about the complexity of the charts. It's about the interactivity of the
Yeah.
chart and number of ways in which you can, change the chart to fit your requirements. Yep. So that's the essence of, kind of what we provide from a Vitara Charts perspective. Of course, we keep running into interesting use cases. So we had worked with a super large customer out of California, and they had this requirement to showcase. They had over 100,000 employees in their organization, and their HR department wanted to see at a glance how is the distribution of the salaries by level. So you have level 1, level 2, level 5, and their distribution of salaries. So what we did is we had a bubble chart, and then we created packing in that bubble chart. So it's level 1 bubble chart on the left, level 2 bubble chart where you take the same piece of information but you're grouping it. So in this department, for example, you can see that you have executives who are getting paid big remuneration. And in this department, you have a lot more people at a similar level getting similar compensation. So at a
Hmm.
glance, you can say, if I want to adjust salaries, here more or less everyone's making equal. Here, do you want to understand why we have less kind of lower level employees and so many higher level management people? At a glance, you can get it. At the same time, coincidentally, we got a request from an insurance provider out of Europe who wanted to analyze the risk for their population. So they are creating groups of population to give you insurance
Hmm.
numbers, and they want to understand what is the risk associated with each group. So at a high level glance, like this is like the eagle's eye view, way up there, 5,000 feet, you're just seeing where is my risk bubbles and what do I want to attack. So here you can say in this population, there is equally risk is balanced out and big payouts are not coming up. In this bubble, you can say you have very low risk customers, but very high risk customers. So you want to see this composition, maybe adjust it a little bit. So this kind of thing is a unique use case, but again, at the
Hmm.
same time, not so unique because you're seeing it apply across two completely different, use cases in two completely different continents and industries,
Yeah.
right? So
That's really
sometimes
powerful.
it's
Yeah.
very powerful because a lot of times we think drill, 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 get to the detail. But sometimes people want that high level overview. How am I doing with my business? Is it looking green overall? Then I'm good. I won't dig in. Is it
Hmm.
orange to start digging in? Let me
Yeah.
start at the top, right? So that way, this kind of chart helps you make that communication.
Great.
Same something like this waffle chart as well. We take something that is very simple. We always have this question, where am I getting my revenues from? Who are my biggest contributors? Is it the latest project that I have just launched, or is it my stable product that has been in business for a while? Is my revenue coming from product, from support, from maintenance? All these questions are there. Percentage to total is something that is across the board. So instead of showing that as a pie chart, which is the de facto way of showing it, here we are showing it as a waffle chart, a 10 by 10 waffle, which is super easy to read, and it
Yeah.
shows you the percentage fill explains how this is happening, but it doesn't stop there, right? The waffle chart is step one. Now you personalize it. Let's say we're talking distribution of people across different regions, and you want to see how many are in Asia, how many are Africa, what have you. So it's a people question. So you go to the marker, and now you change it and make it a people question.
Mm.
So now you have customized it. We were showcasing this to a logistics people, and they wanted to showcase their trucks in different regions. So we said, absolutely, we have transport symbols. Let's put a truck in there. How powerful is
Looks
that?
cool.
Right? It's immediate. It's immediate, and you're able to
Yeah.
see, where are your trucks distributed, which region are they mostly going in. Super simple to do that. Now you take the same waffle chart, and this is where the power of Vitara kicks in, and you change the layout from grid to like a block waffle. It changes the chart. This
Oh.
is sometimes called as a pictograph. The same
Hmm.
waffle, you make it into a list.
I see. Oh.
So now I have three charts inside a one chart, single chart, and I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
in different variations, and even
Hmm.
appearance changes, right? So you're changing, a simple marker, and you're changing from one style to another style. So the left chart and the right chart are exactly the same thing, but just by changing the marker, they look
Hmm.
completely different.
That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's kind of where we are headed with it. We start off with, charts that are user friendly, easily applicable, and then we try to build interactivity to it. And we try to make it so that every end user sees some value, additional value that they can provide, and start using the tool more, hopefully, right? That's kind of the goal here.
All right, everyone. So that was it. Vitara Charts, a nice integrator here with strategy. If you need more advanced, more like customized views of your data, Vitara Charts can offer you that. I hope you guys like this first series of guest episodes. I'm looking forward to hear your comments here in the channel. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the videos, of course, if you like it. And as I always say, I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in the next quarter.